Thank you all so much for tuning in to a fairy tale chatter. I'll be your host for today, Ursula. Now, that was all, of course, scripted by Liz because I'm not one for giving thanks very often. Anyway, I think we should dive into the questions, and I'm just going to warn you in advance, I haven't looked at any of them. Who has the time, really? Now let me pull them up here. All right. Now the first one is, do you wish you could sing as beautifully as Ariel? Who says that I can't? I used to sing in a jazz club, actually. Yes, it was called Trident's Lounge. And, well, let's just say I had many admirers. All right. What sort of policy changes would you make as ruler of the sea? Do you have ambitions to also rule the land? If so, what would life for humans under your rule look like? That's a long question. Many tentacles to that one. Well, I think the policy changes I would make are that everyone has to donate their voice to me. Just for a limited amount of time. I'm not saying that I would need it in perpetuity. Maybe just, I don't know, a week or two. Yes. What other policy changes? Free all-you-can-eat buffets. For only me, of course. Everyone else would have to pay exorbitant fees, which would also go into my coffers. That goes without saying, doesn't it? And do you have ambitions to also rule the land? I don't know. That's a tricky one. Land dwellers freak me out a bit. But it might be nice to go to a carnival. I've always wanted to go to a carnival. They have a version of it down here, but it's just not the same. Those caramel apples have always intrigued me, I guess you could say. But that's not really the answer to the question, isn't it? No, not really. I don't have ambitions to rule the land, per se. I think the sea is enough of an expanse. But then they say, if so, what would life for humans under your rule look like? Once again, all-you-can-eat buffets for only me, and they would have to pay large fees. Now, when I say buffet, I mean the full spread. Not seafood, of course. But, you know, a nice turkey, nice salad. I love a good salad. I know, well, I have to watch my figure, don't I? All right. And the next question is, how did you acquire Flotsam and Jetsam? Did you have them since they were eggs? No, I adopted them from a shelter. There's a very sweet lady who runs a shelter down here, and she has all sorts of creatures. I once adopted a goldfish, but things went horribly wrong and it ran away. Oh, no, it's okay. I did see it with another family kind of gallivanting around the park one day, so no need to fret. But I just love Flotsam and Jetsam to pieces. They are my little babies, and I would do anything for them, and I don't say that about many people or creatures for that matter. The next question is, do you often feel misunderstood? What is your big dream? Oh, I am misunderstood every day. And there have been incidents in the past, of course, you know, how I might have borrowed someone's voice without their knowledge. But yes, I do feel misunderstood. I feel all creative geniuses are misunderstood, though, aren't they? And what is my big dream? I'm not going to say buffet again. I know, I don't want to be repetitive. I guess my big dream would be to own a shoe store. Yes. Now, I'm not talking about one of those mundane shoe stores for actual feet, but I think people with tentacles need to have footwear options, even though we don't have feet. I know, I'm rambling. The next question is, do you prefer sourcing voices yourself, or is trading with another collector just as satisfying? Oh, both. I love to acquire, curate voices on my own, but I also love a good trade. I traded with this sea witch, this other sea witch, of course that's what I am too, and her name was Matilda. And she didn't know what kind of voices she had on her hands. And so I got a sweet deal. Yes. One was an opera singer. I know. All right. Oh, this person left a little message before they wrote the question. Hello, Ursula. Thank you for coming here today to answer our questions. Oh, you are quite welcome, dear. First, how would you like to be addressed? Well, Ursula's just fine. Or, Queen Ursula, whatever. I'm splitting hairs now. Next question. What are some of your favorite beauty and skincare tips you can give me? Seaweed. That's all I'm going to say. Seaweed works wonders. I do seaweed hair wrap, seaweed facials. Algae is also amazing. Moss, sea moss. Oh, but definitely seaweed. I mean, I know that the land dwellers use it for things like sushi and miso soup, but it can really clean out your pores. Oh, she has a whole list of questions here. All right. They have a whole list of questions. I know that everyone has heard of Ariel's side of the story. What is yours? Do you speak with your brother and niece? Do you still have ambitions to be ruler of the seas? Have you ever thought of using Ariel's daughter Melody to get back in control? This is another twisty one. My side of the story is exactly how it happened. I'm not going to try to lie or sugarcoat it. Yes, I made a contract. An impeccable contract, mind you. But yes, it was pretty much as the story goes. Do you speak with your brother and niece? Absolutely not. I don't like toxic people in my life. Do you still have ambitions to be ruler of the seas? Yes. But not more than running that shoe store. I mean, I don't know. Being a ruler would be very stressful. Every day at 5 I like to have my little cocktail and lounge around and read magazines, and being a ruler might get in the way of that. Have you ever thought of using Ariel's daughter Melody to get back in control? Possibly. I'm not going to give away any secrets just yet. Another question. What advice do you have for someone who wants to begin acquiring voices? Start small. I don't mean small voices. I mean just a collection, just one or two, here and there when you come across them. Don't be greedy right away or ambitious. Start small. What's your favorite food to eat? Pizza. I love a good mushroom pizza. That and what else? Pretzels also. And those caramel apples I mentioned earlier from the carnivals. They do look delicious. What's your favorite thing to do? Well, as I mentioned earlier, have a cocktail, lounge around, and read magazines. I think that's pretty much at the top of my list. Oh, and she says, thank you for taking the time to answer our questions. Once again, you're quite welcome. All right, the next question. Does having both arms and tentacles make it easier to multitask? How many things can you do at once on a typical day? It does make it easier to multitask, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Very few people like to point out my strengths. All right. How many things can you do at once on a typical day? Oh, 8. Well, it depends what those tasks are, but I don't like to do too many tasks. Let's just be frank. As I have said before, lounging is kind of my hobby. And, I don't know. Other than acquiring voices, of course, which can take a lot out of you. Oh. Okay. There's another question. Do you ever take your pet eels to get groomed? If so, what do they get done? And has there ever been an incident where they or someone else was injured? Yes and yes. I take them to get groomed about once a month. I was doing it once every season, and then I realized that they were a bit unkempt, and I don't like unkempt eels. So what they typically have done is they get a body polish, a full polish, and we make sure that their eyes are checked, because it's a little wonky. And that's typically what it is. Now, the injury, no one can prove anything, let's just put it that way, and I am not going to admit any fault of my own, any culpability here. But there may hypothetically have been an issue where Flotsam nipped at somebody, not bit them, just kind of got a little feisty, and someone may have lost one of their fingers. I'm just saying that this is all hypothetical, alleged. All right. Well, that was it. Now, I do have some questions that I have created for myself, if you will allow me. Of course you'll allow me, because I am Ursula, after all. Okay, my first question for myself is, what is your favorite color? I love purple and black second. I mean, I think they really tie for me. Now, I have been thinking about redoing my grotto in a beautiful lavender color, but it's just not dark enough. I don't know. We'll have to see. The other question that I came up, one of the other questions that I came up for myself is how often do I like to kind of surface and check things out? Well, once a month. In fact, it's right after I get the eels groomed. I treat myself to a little land viewing session. I love to people watch. I think they are so peculiar. I'll just kind of float around and watching out for any boats, of course. And the bane of my existence is cruise ships. I don't know how many times I've almost been spotted by a cruise ship passenger. Horrible. Oh, I'm shuddering just thinking of it. Another question I have for yours truly is, how often do I like to get manicures? I think manicures are of the utmost importance. Just as I have my eels groomed, I like to get a manicure once a week. And I would do it more often, honestly, if I could find good help. The woman who does my manicure, she insists that I only get them once a week. I just think she can't be bothered with me. I don't particularly care for her, and I know she cares for me even less, but it's a love-hate relationship. She loves getting paid for the manicures, but hates having to deal with me. All right, another question that I had for myself is, do I like going shopping? My motto for most of my life has been shop till you drop. And I love shopping for very unusual things, not just voices. One of my favorite things is snow globes. I cannot get enough of them. That and thimbles. For some reason, thimbles really, I guess they tickle my fancy, is what I would say. Is that an appropriate term for this? Well, it is now. They strike my fancy, tickle my... I don't know. I don't know about the sayings that these land dwellers have. I've been trying to expand my vocabulary and, my word repertoire to include little sayings here and there, and they fail miserably quite often. The other day I said bird of a different color, and many people in the room were utterly confused. Then again, they didn't even know it was horse of a different color. It was just the saying in general was problematic, I suppose. Oh no, what's this? Oh, it looks like Liz has left a couple questions for me. Oh, what a dear. Subjecting me to even more questions and taking even more of my precious, precious time. All right, what does she say here? All right. She wants to know what my grotto looks like. Well, at the moment, it is painted a beautiful emerald green. I have 7 rooms, I believe now. Yes, 7. I had 6 up until recently, and I thought it was a bit too crammed, especially with the eels, bouncing about the place. So I did a little renovation. I didn't. I hired someone and paid a pretty penny too, I must say. And yes, now I have that extra room, and it's a sauna. I know what you're thinking. Oh, indulgent. Indeed it is, and I deserve it. All right, another question is... let's see. Yeah, these are all handwritten. I'm having a hard time reading her handwriting. Let me see here. Okay. She asks, what has been your most unusual contract experience? I'm sure I covered something similar in my Wicked Wisdom event, but, there was this one time that a woman with a green thumb wanted to be even better at gardening. She wanted a full veggie garden, and, she had a green thumb, but it was kind of a pale green, let's put it that way. So, I worked my magic, and she had a full-on veggie and flower garden in no time at all, and I had her voice for a year, and she had this lovely way of speaking. I loved her accent. I think she was from New England, and she had such a way about her. Well, her voice did anyway. I listened to it for days on end. It was simply beautiful. I was very, very upset when I had to give it back, but it wasn't a permanent trait. Things like gardening really don't warrant, a lifelong contract. I am fair. I am very fair, if nothing else, and I don't like to rip people off. All right. She has one more question for me. Gosh, I need to tell her to work on her penmanship. This is awful, atrocious. I have tentacles and I can fare better than her. Then again, I do still have my hands. Let's not forget that. I tend to do all of my writing with my tentacles, though. Oh, speaking of tentacles, she wonders if I have a favorite tentacle. I think that is a very silly question. Why would I have a favorite tentacle? They're all the same to me. They're all treasured. What would I do without them? They help me, get around the sea and, sip my cocktail, flip my magazine, as we mentioned earlier, eat at buffets. I rely on my tentacles each and every day, and I don't have a favorite one. Do better, Liz. Work on your questions. That was very lame, as the kids these days say. I think that's what they say anyway. Who knows? Anyway, It was lovely being here with you all. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fairy Tale Chatter. And I'm supposed to tell you that the next episode will feature Glinda. I think you're all in for it. I met her once, not at the Wicked Wisdom Convention, of course. I think it was just a general witch gathering. And she can talk someone's ear off. You know, she floated in on that bubble gimmick of hers, and I just about gagged. Anyway, I'm not going to speak ill of her, though, because she'll be the next host, and I wouldn't want her disparaging me. But anyway, I'll wrap things up. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for submitting all of your wonderful questions. Liz has also left a note in her very bad handwriting that she wants to thank all of you for your well wishes. I suppose this was about the power outage in Spain. Yes. So thank you all for sending in your wishes. Once again, this is from her, not me, because I'm not a big Thanksgiver. I do like Thanksgiving, though, because it involves food. Anyway, I digress. I will leave you all to it. And ta-ta.